Hi everyone, this is Mr. Trio, and today I will be giving a presentation on tackling question A on paper number 1. As a reminder, paper 1 is the largest assessment which is a part of the IGCSE program. And just as a reminder, we'll go through some of the different aspects. It's a 2-hour examination. Candidates get to choose which questions they answer. Candidates must answer a total of 3 questions, 2 questions from the core studies, 1 of the questions from the depth studies, and all the questions which are a part of paper 1 are broken into 3 parts, A, B, and C. This presentation is specifically about question A. Question A can award a candidate up to 4 marks. And the idea behind this particular question is to demonstrate that you understand the basic knowledge of the subject. This is through telling the story. We're going to work on topic sentences today, which are a key part of question A. And then last but not least, trying to connect evidence to that topic sentence. A while ago, I developed this history model, which I hope is helpful to you as a student. Essentially, this model shows how at the base of any type of analysis, you have to begin with a basic story, and then you build upon that the details. Details and story are the core part of question A. The more advanced history components, such as comparisons, analysis, and opinion, don't make up question A. So for today's purposes, we'll just push that to the side. So many of you are just starting out studying history, and you may not be familiar with all the different subjects. So one of the things that I thought that we could do is begin by having a practice question. And this question is about a subject that more than likely you have some base knowledge about already. So let's look at our sample focus point, and that is, how is the lion used in popular culture? And a typical type of a question that would appear in paper number 1 might be something along these lines. How is the lion used as a symbol in popular culture? Now, what I'd like you to do is just take 30 seconds or so and think about, where do you see lions? In advertisements, or in movies, or in books? Where do you associate lions? And what are the symbols associated with them? So let's just think about it. Do you have ones in mind? I just came up with, off the top of my head, some different examples of where I see lions in my everyday life. For example, the large movie company, MGM, uses a lion. You may be familiar with The Lion King, which was a popular stage production, but also a successful cartoon. In The Wizard of Oz, there was the Cowardly Lion. The British coat of arms includes a lion. Then there's Lions International. That's a charity group. Lions rugby team. And as Hong Kong people, we all know HSBC uses the lion as an important symbol. Now, besides the lion, of course, what do these things have in common? In some ways, when you look at a list like this, it's just kind of a jumbled mess. And that's not really an effective way to write an essay. So essentially, what we need to do is take all these different topics and think about how we can put them into different categories. Let me show you what I did. I came up with 3 distinct categories. Courage, because I was thinking about the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz and how in the end of the story he He gets his courage. I thought about strength. And then last but not least, dependability. 3 major categories. And then I can then place the lions in the correct category. This is a very important process which we go through in order to better organize our ideas. We have 2 pieces of evidence under courage, 3 pieces of evidence under strength, and 2 pieces of evidence under dependability. So we're now ready to begin to write our essay. The lion is one of the best known big cats of Africa. Now you might be saying, why am I starting my essay with that? It's important always to start with your story, the background information that allows the reader to understand where you're coming from. If you were to start just by talking about MGM or HSBC, the reader might say, where are they coming from? What is this about? But with a background, essentially the reader understands your point of view. Today, the lion is used internationally as a symbol of courage, strength, and dependability in popular culture. That is our topic sentence. And as you can see from our list before, I've incorporated courage, strength, and dependability into that topic sentence. Now we're ready to begin to write about our evidence. The lion has been used in films like The Lion King and The Wizard of Oz to symbolize courage. The lion is a symbol of strength and has been used by monarchs, rugby teams, and banks like HSBC. International organizations like MGM and the Lions use the lion to demonstrate dependability. So, essentially, we start with our introduction. Now we are providing evidence to support that. And last but not least, we have to finish it off with a tight conclusion. The lion is a versatile symbol that is used in many ways in popular culture. People instantly recognize the animal, which makes it a powerful icon. Now, we've done this process, but could we apply it in a history scenario? Let's take a look. So this is an actual question that appeared in the 2015 IGCSE Paper 1. The focus point is fighting elsewhere than the Western Front was significant. This deals with the depth studies of World War I. And the A question is, describe U-boat warfare. Now, when you're asked to describe something, essentially what you have to think about is the different aspects. Let me help you out with some of the key vocabulary words and concepts, since you may not have actually studied this subject. First of all, what is a U-boat? It's basically just another name for a submarine. Very important with the German Navy. They had a policy which was called unconditional submarine warfare. They shot torpedoes at opponents. They tried to blockade ports. This caused severe rationing. And one of the things that the British eventually did in order to fight off these submarine attacks is they formed these convoys in which they would all sail together for protection. So through these key vocabulary words and concepts, I have the general idea of how I would answer this question. Describe U-boat warfare. But once again, it's not very effective just to sit down and start writing magically. What you want to do is have a systematic approach. So I look at this information, and once again, what I try to do is come up with categories. The two big categories associated with warfare is the tactics that the German Navy employed and the objectives of what they were trying to accomplish. So let's take all those vocabulary words from the beginning and put them in the correct spot. Now all of our information is organized and we can begin writing our essay. Let's start once again with the introduction. The First World War was the first modern war in which new technologies like the U-boat or submarine were used. This, of course, is our background information to allow the reader to understand where we're coming from and what we're going to talk about. U-boat warfare was an important part of the fighting where tactics and objectives combined to make the German Navy a strong enemy. Now, this of course is our topic sentence and our focus. And notice that I have used tactics and objectives as a part of this topic sentence, just like the way that I organized information. First piece of information that is evidence. The German, Navy developed a policy which was known as unconditional submarine warfare. This was a tactic in which all merchant vessels of the British would be sank without warning. Torpedoes were effective as stealth weapon. Eventually, the British, with the help for the US, developed a convoy system which provided more protection for the merchant vessels. Starting in 1917, the number of vessels being sunk were reduced. So this whole paragraph supports the details related to tactics. Now I have to include a second paragraph because I need to talk about objectives. The German Navy's objective was to create a blockade of British ports. If Great Britain was unable to receive supplies, it would be more difficult for them to support troops fighting on the Western Front. Blockades could also cause rationing, which may turn the British public against the war and help to bring about a German victory. In the end, it was the shortages that caused by the British Navy that helped to bring about the German Revolution of 1918. This is the paragraph that supports the evidence related to the category of objectives. Last but not least, our conclusion. Tactics and objectives make up an important part of the effort of the German Navy to develop U-boat warfare, although it was successful at the beginning of the war, eventually changing British tactics, loss of U-boats, and new supplies from the US helped to bring the war to an end. So, with our conclusion, we are going back to our introduction and supporting that, not necessarily with any new or surprising information, but essentially like two bookends that support the evidence which is in the middle. Let's take a look at the whole paragraph. Here at the top, you can clearly see the introduction, two pieces of evidence, since we had two categories, tactics and objectives, and then at the bottom, conclusion. So let's finish up. Paper number 1, question A. First, you as a writer need to establish the story. Provide the background information. Focus on the question being asked and provide a topic sentence. With our details, those are the following paragraphs. Try to establish the information into clear categories, and if possible, try to give at least 3 pieces of evidence to support your topic sentence. And don't be quick to leave the essay too quickly. Always remember to put a nice conclusion at the end that supports your introduction. I hope this has been a helpful video, and you can go back, of course, and take a look at it at a slower pace if you need to. We will have follow-up videos that will focus specifically on how to answer questions that are in the B category and the C category. Until later, thanks for joining me.